I wasn't supposed to be the one who made it out. That's the part that still feels wrong. Not the creatures, not the way the rocks moved, not even the fact that our footage turned into an hour of black screen and static when the rescue team tried to play it back. They said the cameras failed. They said we panicked and got turned around. They called it a tragic caving accident. They're wrong. So before I tell you what happened in there, I need you to promise me something. Like, really promise it. Like you'd bet your own heartbeat on it. If you ever go into a beginner cave and see a side tunnel that isn't on the map, that isn't in the guidebooks, that your instructor shrugs off as probably nothing, don't go in. Don't peek. Don't even look too long. Because sometimes the part that isn't on the map isn't new. It's just waiting. There were 4 of us. Me, my best friend Lex, her boyfriend Mark, and our experienced caving buddy Tyler. If you'd seen us that morning, you'd have thought we were going on a school field trip, not walking into an open grave in the side of a mountain. Bright helmets, brand new headlamps, adventure backpacks from Amazon, a laminated map that crinkled every time Tyler folded it and unfolded it like he was doing something official. This is a beginner cave, he told us for the 3rd time in the parking lot. Guided tours come through here all the time. Straightforward passages, big chambers, no vertical drops. We'll be in and out before lunch, okay? Lex bumped her shoulder into mine. See? Beginner cave. Baby cave. It's practically a tutorial level. She always did that, used jokes to smooth down the anxiety. We'd met in college. She was the one who dragged me into every experience. Haunted houses, road trips, midnight hikes. The kind of friend who made you feel like you were missing out if you said no. So when she texted me a link to a super chill cave a couple hours from town, there was no universe in which I said no. Even though caves, honestly, they creeped me out. Something about the earth swallowing you. Mark stood by the open trunk, strapping on knee pads. Worst thing that happens is we get a little muddy, he said. We're back in time for burgers, right, Ty? Tyler flicked his carabiner against his harness. You'll see a lot of people in there. It's like a rock museum. Relax. I should have turned around right then. Before the cave mouth was more than a dark smudge in the distance. Before the air changed. Before the light thinned. Before I heard that first sound. But I didn't. Because nothing bad really happens in a beginner cave, right? You don't notice the temperature drop at first. You just feel heavier. Like the air has weight now, sliding into your lungs instead of just rushing in. The entrance was wide, almost theatrical. An arch of jagged gray rock with a metal gate swung open during visiting hours. A big informational sign stood outside with diagrams of the known routes, little red arrows marking the paths. I remember standing there staring at the map, tracing the loops with my eyes. Main corridor, echo chamber, cathedral room, squeeze alley, optional. The lines were neat and self-contained. Stay on the marked path, the line said. Do not explore unmarked areas. Cheap font, bright red letters. My brain filed it under legal cover, not life or death warning. We clipped our helmets under our chins and followed the concrete steps down into the mouth of the cave. The light dimmed like someone was slowly turning a knob. 1 step, 2 steps, 5, and the outside became an abstract idea behind us. My headlight beam cut a tight circle on the ground, illuminating wet stone, scattered gravel, a candy wrapper someone had dropped. Cool, right? Lex's voice echoed too loud. Yeah, I said because that's what you say when your stomach is quietly trying to climb out through your throat. Tyler took the lead, pointing out formations like he was giving a tour. Those are soda straws, he said, shining his beam upward. Delicate, hollow stalactites hung from the ceiling like rows of sharp teeth. And that's flowstone. Flowstone, Lex repeated, like she was naming a Pokemon. Flowstone uses harden. Mark laughed, sound bouncing off the walls. You're such a nerd. We walked maybe 20 minutes tops through tunnels big enough to stand in comfortably. Wooden signs at intersections kept us on track. Main route to the right, echo chamber to the left, and exit straight ahead. Groups passed us now and then. Families, a guided tour with a ranger in a bright vest. One little kid waved at me like we were on a theme park ride. See? Totally baby cave. We reached the echo chamber, aptly named. It was a big open space where the ceiling arched high, studded with stalactites and mineral curtains. People were playing with the acoustics, clapping, singing. Our lights glowed like fireflies against the rock. We can loop back from here, Tyler said, checking his phone for the time. There's a side passage I want to show you on the way out. It's marked on some of the old maps, but not on the new ones. Probably just a dead end, but it's cool. Why'd they take it off, I asked. He shrugged. Tour routes change. Too narrow, maybe. Liability. Liability? That word should have stuck harder. But all I heard was secret passage that most people don't get to see. You know that itch you get when someone tells you there's a locked door on the end of the hallway, and you don't even care about the hallway? You just want to know what's behind that door? That's what it felt like. That's how it always starts. We left the crowds behind and retraced our steps. After a few minutes, the sound of other people faded to nothing. Just our footsteps, our breathing, the soft drip-drip of water from somewhere above. Then Tyler stopped and pointed his headlamp at a shadowed corner of the tunnel. There, he said. That's it. If he hadn't shown me, I might have walked right past. The opening was low, maybe 3 feet high, like the earth had blinked and left a crack behind. No sign, no markings, just darkness tucked into the wall. I crouched to look in, expecting to see a shallow pocket of rock. Instead, my beam stretched way further than it should have. The passage sloped downward out of sight. Oh, that's not creepy at all, I muttered. Lex knelt down beside me, eyes bright. It's like a secret level. I thought we were doing the main route, I said. We are, Tyler replied. I just want to poke our heads in. We'll stay close. 10 minutes tops. If it gets sketchy, we turn around. Beginner rules still apply. Mark moved past us and ducked into the opening without waiting. Come on, scaredy cats. How often do you get to see something not on the tourist brochure? And that was it. 4 people with more curiosity than caution, and a hole in the wall that wasn't on the map. If you're waiting for some big dramatic moment where the cave roared or the ground shook or the air went red, no, it never gives you that. It waits until you choose. We crawled in after him. Right away, everything felt wrong. The air was colder, but not in the refreshing way, more like freezer burn. Our headlamps caught strange angles in the rock as if the passage had been carved instead of formed. Not smooth like water erosion, not jagged like random fractures, but scored, scribbled, as if something with claws had dragged along the walls again and again. We had to move on hands and knees at first, helmets scraping the ceiling. Then the tunnel opened just enough to stand hunched over, single file. No way this was ever part of the tour, I said. Old maps just mark it as Side Passage B, Tyler replied, voice echoing back at us. They didn't have the same safety standards back then. So, this could just drop off? I asked. That's why we're going slow, he said. Relax. Lex snorted. You keep saying that and it's not working. 5 minutes in, the light from our main tunnel was gone. There was just our 4 beams in a hole out of black. Dust hung in the air. My knees and palms were already muddy. Tiny pebbles slid under my gloves when I moved, making little scraping sounds. Then I heard a different sound. A faint, dry clicking, far ahead, like someone gently tapping 2 stones together. Did you hear that? I whispered. We all froze. Click, click, click. Probably water, Mark said, though it didn't sound like water. Or rock shifting. Rock shifting, Lex repeated, wrinkling her nose. Yeah, that's comforting. The passage widened as we went, then narrowed again, forcing us into a sideways shuffle. My chest brushed up against cold stone. My backpack scraped. Okay, I don't like this, I said. We should turn around. Just a little further, Tyler replied. If it's a dead end, we'll see it soon. Because that's what curiosity does, right? It always sounds reasonable. Just a little further. Just one more step. Until we know. We reached a bend where the tunnel veered sharply right. The clicking stopped. In its place was a hush so complete it made my ears ring. Hold up, Tyler said. I'm going to check around the corner. Stay here. He eased himself around the bend and disappeared from my beam. I feel sick thinking about that moment now. How we just let him. How we treated it like a game. He was gone maybe 3 seconds before he shouted. Not a scared shout, an excited one. You guys! You need to see this! Lex squeezed my arm, grinning nervously. If this is a bat colony, I'm leaving you all here. We shuffled forward together, me behind her, Mark behind me. We turned the corner, and the floor disappeared. Whoa, I breathed. We stood at the lip of a chamber that hadn't been on any sign, any map, any ranger pamphlet. Our headlamps threw pale halos into a huge dark drop. The nearest ledge was about 6 feet down, sloping into the hollowed-out belly of the earth. The ceiling was low above the lip, but beyond that it rose higher, domed and uneven. This is insane, Tyler said. His voice echoed multiple copies, ghosting back at us. Is there a way down? Lex asked. He angled his beam along the wall. Looks like a ramp, steep, but doable. Check it out. He showed us a rocky slope hugging the side of the chamber, narrow but navigatable. Guys, I said, heart pounding. We don't know how far it goes. We have no ropes, no markers, nothing. If someone slips... I'll go first, Tyler said. If it's too sketchy, we climb back up, but this... He swept his light across the chamber again. This is probably an unmapped room. How many people have seen this? That was the question right there. The one that sank its teeth into Lex. Her eyes glittered. We could be the first ones. Or the latest. But I didn't think that then. I just thought about how I always held us back. How I was always the one with the what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. Fine, I muttered. But if I die, I'm haunting you. Lex grinned. Deal. We didn't know we were already surrounded. Moving down that slope felt like climbing into a throat. The rock under my boots was slick in places, dry in others. Tiny stones rolled away with each step. We leaned into the wall, palms pressed against it for balance. The chamber opened up as we descended. My headlamp beam skated over stalagmites and uneven ridges. The bottom was at least 30, maybe 40 feet down. Hard to tell with everything swallowing sound and light. Mark, you good? I called over my shoulder. Yeah, came his answer, a little breathless. Lex was ahead of me, one hand on the wall and the other gripping a jut of stone. This is so cool, she whispered. We're like actual explorers. Something small skittered away from my foot and vanished into a rock. I told myself it was just a cave cricket. Totally normal. Totally fine. Halfway down, the clicking sound returned. Closer. Click, click, click. Okay, that's not water, I said. Ty, you hear that? Yeah, he replied. He sounded more focused than worried. Could be rocks settling or... The clicking cut him off. It came from below us, and then to the left now, as if something was moving along the floor of the chamber. Lex stopped and lifted her head. Is someone else down there? She called out. Her voice bounced back. No answer, just the clicking, a little faster now. My skin prickled. We should head back up, I said. Seriously, we saw it. We can tell the rangers. That's enough. For once, I agree with your anxiety, Mark muttered behind me. Tyler hesitated, then sighed. All right, fine. The slope shifted under us. Just a little. Just enough to slew a layer of loose rock downward like a stone avalanche in miniature. Whoa, Lex yelped, sliding a foot and catching herself. Pebbles clattered down into the chamber below. Then everything went quiet again. Not quiet like before, quiet like listening. Okay, yeah, we're done, Tyler said. Everybody turn. It stepped into my light. At first, my brain tried to make it a person, standing on the chamber floor, half turned towards us. Pale and naked? No, not naked. Just colorless, skin the same sick, chalky shade as the limestone. But it wasn't a person. It was too long. Arms that hung to mid-shin, fingers like white twigs. Its spine curved in this weird, hunched posture, as if standing upright was a costume it hadn't quite learned how to wear. The head was the worst part. Too smooth, too round. No hair, no ears. Just a slight bulge where a face should have been. And yet, it was facing us. I felt it looking at us. And in the center of that almost face was a mouth. It wasn't where mouths go, it was too high. Stretched from where eyebrows should be, down halfway to where a nose would be. A vertical slit closed. It opened. Not to scream, not to roar. Just enough for a fleshy, wet-looking membrane inside to flex. Click. The sound we had been hearing all along. The click ricocheted around the chamber. A heartbeat later, the darkness around it answered. 3, 4, 5 more clicks echoed from different points in the chamber. Above, below, too far to see, like responses. Like a conversation. Okay, we're going, Tyler said. We're going back up, slow and steady. Don't run, don't. The creature tilted its head. In that moment, I knew two things with the kind of certainty that doesn't leave room for logic. 1, it could see us without eyes. 2, the clicking, that's how. It raised one arm, too smooth, no visible elbow, and placed its long fingers against a nearby stalagmite, almost tenderly. Click, click, click. From somewhere high up near the ceiling, something else moved, dislodging dust. Tyler, I whispered. We have to. Lex screamed. Not a sharp movie scream, a raw, frightened, torn out of her throat sound, because something pale and jointed and wrong had slid partially out of a hole in the wall next to her. Arm only at first, then the suggestion of a torso behind it. Fingers gripped the rock inches from her face. She jerked away, boots slipping. I grabbed for her and missed. She slid down the slope, gravel cascading around her, arms pinwheeling. For one horrible second, I thought she was going to tumble all the way to the bottom, neck snapping, body becoming just another shape on the cave floor. Instead, she slammed shoulder first into a rocky outcrop and held there, gasping. Lex! Mark shouted. Hang on! The pale thing at the bottom of the chamber was moving now. Too smooth. No wasted motion, like it had practiced this 1,000 times. It glided toward where she had slid, long limbs bending in ways that made my joints ache just to look at. Go back up, Lex said, her voice trembling. Go back up, go! She didn't finish, because that's when the ceiling opened. Movement above us. Not one thing, many. The sound of bones scraping stone, of joints flexing, of bodies unfolding from holes like spider eggs hatching. My headlamp flicked upward and caught glimpses, just flashes. Pale limbs, those stretched vertical mouths, finger bones hooking into cracks as they poured down the walls towards us. "Climb!" Tyler shouted. "Back, now!" You know how in dreams when you try to run and your legs won't move? This was like the opposite. My body moved before my brain caught up. I scrambled up the slope, hands clawing into the rock, boots kicking for purchase. Behind me, Lex crying out. Mark cursing. The sharp, hard clicks echoing from all directions, overlapping into a nightmare percussion. Something touched my boot. Just a brush. I yanked my leg up instinctively, heart detaching from my ribs. Don't look back, I told myself. Don't look, don't look, don't. I looked. One of them was halfway up the slope, using both hands and feet, limbs bending around the rock like liquid. Its mouth was open, that membrane inside fluttering as it clicked and clicked and clicked. I realized then what was so wrong about the sound. It wasn't random. It was scanning, like sonar. Like the way bats map their environment but inverted. Sound not bouncing off of them, but through us. It didn't need eyes. The clicks painted where we were. I turned back up and climbed harder. "Lex!" I shouted. "Come on, you have to move!" I can't. My leg!" Her voice came from below, somewhere to my left. I risked a glance and my stomach lurched. She was stuck where she had slammed into the outcrop, pinned between two jagged sections of rock. One leg was twisted at an angle that made my vision blur. Blood seeped down from the stone, almost black in our lights. She saw my face and it registered how bad it was. Another click, closer now. I saw one of the things reaching for her, fingers splayed. She swung at it with her free hand, hitting bone. It flinched back with a sound I didn't know how to categorize, somewhere between a hiss and a gasp, like the air itself was offended. "Go!" She screamed at us. "Just go!" Mark was below me, trying to reach her, sliding down despite himself. Another pale shape moved toward him from the side, that awful mouth flexing. Tyler grabbed my arm and shoved me upward, his own face white. "Move!" he barked. "We'll come back with help. We can't do anything if we die here too." It was the only thing that made sense, and at the same time it felt like ripping my own skin off. I climbed. I still hear that choice at night, the part where my boots dug into rock instead of turning back toward my friend. Lex's screams followed us. Then her screams turned into something else. Something I have never tried to describe out loud. Not pain, not exactly. More like rearrangement. I'm sorry, there isn't a better word. I don't know how we made it back up the slope without falling. I don't know how those things didn't simply pull us down like spiders pulling flies. I just remember moments. My hand slipping on a patch of slime and catching under the grip an inch before my chin hit stone. Mark's panicked sob as something pale and hard brushed his shoulder. Tyler shoving us ahead of him. "Almost there. Almost there. Go, go." A chorus of clicks building behind us, overlapping, angrier now, louder in the bones than in the ears. We reached the lip of the chamber and hauled ourselves back into the narrow side passage, twisting and pulling like animals. For a second, I thought we'd be grabbed from behind, dragged backward into the drop. I braced for fingers around my ankle, for that dry click right in my ear. Nothing touched me. We scrambled back the way we'd come, half crawling, half running, helmets banging the low ceiling. The tunnel funneled our breathing back at us in harsh gasps. Dust filled my mouth. My knees were raw, gloves torn. Behind us, the clicking changed. It didn't fade like you'd expect if they had given up. It rose and fell in a pattern. Call, response. Call, response. As if they were tracking us, talking about us, remembering us. When the first faint glimmer of other people's headlamps reached us from the main corridor, I cried. Just outright ugly cried, even as I kept moving. We spilled out of the tunnel in a little clump, right in front of a group of tourists who recoiled as if we'd appeared from nowhere. "Oh my God," one woman said. "Are you okay?" Mark tried to talk and couldn't. Tyler just gasped. "We need help. There's someone. There's another." His voice broke. He straightened, visibly forcing himself into control. "Our friend's hurt back there. We need rangers now." The rest is procedural. People shouting, someone running to get staff, radios crackling. I stood there trembling, mud-streaked and bleeding, while families in clean jackets and borrowed helmets stared at us like we were part of an interactive exhibit gone wrong. Nobody asked why we'd gone into an unmarked tunnel. Not right then. That came later. The ranger they sent with the search team was calm in that practiced way. "We'll get her," he said. "We've had injuries before. It's going to be okay." He had no idea what he was walking into. They took our names, contact information, brief statements, then told us to wait in the visitor center room that smelled like hot cocoa and dust while the team went into the cave. I don't know how long we sat there, heads in our hands. Time folded in on itself. Eventually the door opened. The ranger came in without his helmet, hair plastered to his head with sweat. His face had aged about 10 years. My heart dropped. "Did you..." I started. "We found the side passage," he said. "We found the chamber." My hope flared and died all in one motion at the way he said chamber. Like it was a word that didn't fit in his mouth. "She wasn't there," he finished quietly. I froze. "What do you mean, wasn't there?" "No sign of her," he said. "No body, no fresh blood, just rock." "That's impossible," I snapped. We saw her leg was... She couldn't have walked out." He swallowed. His eyes flickered to the other rescuers behind him, then back to us. "There was older staining on some of the stone," he said, "but nothing fresh. And, that chamber is unstable. We're closing off that section of the cave until we can assess it properly." "You're closing it off?" I repeated. "That's it?" "We're not giving up," he said quickly. "But for now it's too dangerous to keep people going in there. We'll organize a more thorough search with better equipment. You should all go home. Rest. We'll be in touch." They never found her. Not that day, not the next, not ever. Search teams went down, geologists, even a couple of specialized rescue groups from out of state who dealt with deep cave incidents. They all came back with variations of the same sentence. The chamber's there, she isn't. The official report called it presumed fatality under unstable cave conditions. There was a lot of talk about hidden crevices, underground waterways, how quickly a body can be lost in complex cave systems. No one mentioned pale, jointed limbs. No one mentioned vertical mouths. No one mentioned the clicking. They called me in to clarify my statement 3 times. The first time I tried to tell them everything, using words that sounded ridiculous as they left my tongue. Creatures, sonar, mouths where eyes should be. They wrote, "highly distressed" and "possible shock response" in their notes. By the 3rd interview, I'd stopped trying. I gave them the version they wanted. We entered a restricted area. There was a fall. We couldn't reach her. We fled. Guilt is heavy enough on its own. Adding the weight of being dismissed as hysterical on top of it, that's something I wouldn't wish on anyone. We never told her parents about the things we saw. Just the part where we chose curiosity over caution. That part was bad enough. You'd think the story ends there, right? With a missing friend, a closed-off chamber, a cautionary tale about respecting warning signs. I wish. Remember the part I told you at the beginning about the footage? We all had GoPros strapped to our helmets. Standard stupid adventure documentation. The rescue team confiscated the memory cards as part of the investigation. Weeks later, one of the rangers called me. "I probably shouldn't be telling you this," he said, voice low. "But I thought you should know. About the video?" I gripped my phone tighter. "What about it?" "It's all there at first," he said. "You going in, the main corridor, the side passage. But when the feed gets to that chamber, right when you start to look down, it cuts out. Just goes black. Audio too. Then it comes back as you're scrambling back into the main tunnel. Like someone had manually edited out the worst part. Except no one had. They'd had the files examined. Corrupted, they said. You know what did come through though? One thing. Right before the video cut to black, right as the camera tilted over the lip of the chamber, there was a single, sharp sound. Click. The audio tech who analyzed it told the ranger there was something off about it. The waveform wasn't like a normal environmental sound. It was too clean, too intentional. Almost like it originated inside the mic, the tech had said. Like it was echoing in the electronics. I laughed when the ranger told me that. A small, ugly sound. "And what do you think?" I asked. He was quiet for a long time. "I think," he finally said, "that sometimes the dark doesn't like being recorded." They closed the cave a month later. Officially, it was for long-term geological concerns and visitor safety. Unofficially? I don't know. I just know they put a fresh padlock on the metal gate and a bigger sign out front with more red letters. Stay on marked routes. Do not enter unauthorized areas. Violators will be prosecuted. Prosecuted? Like that was the worst thing that could happen. So why am I telling you this? Why now? Because last week I got a message from an unknown number. No text, no pictures, just a voice recording. It was 3 seconds long. I played it expecting a butt dial, static, whatever. Instead, I heard the sound I'd been trying to convince myself I imagined. Click. Silence. Then another click. Closer with a faint echo wrapped around it, like it was being bounced off walls. After that, a whisper. I can't prove it was her. I can't prove it wasn't. It was so faint I had to put my phone right against my ear, turn the volume all the way up. It sounded like my name, scraped raw. I deleted the message, then went into my recently deleted folder and restored it, then deleted it again, then backed it up. I've done this every day since, as if any of it matters. Maybe it was a stupid prank. Maybe someone from the search team is messing with me for reasons I don't understand. Or maybe those things deep underground aren't just clicking to map rock. Maybe they've learned other uses for sound. Communication, luring, mimicry. Maybe they can bounce themselves into signals, into wires, into our devices. Maybe when we climbed out and left Lex behind, we didn't actually leave them. Maybe they came with us. I don't go into caves anymore. I don't even like parking garages. Any space where the ceiling feels too low and the air feels too still makes my skin crawl. Friends show me vacation photos of tourist caverns with colored lights and guided tours. And I smile and say, "Oh wow, that looks cool," while my heart thunders and my palms sweat. Because I know that not every chamber is on the map. I know that not everything down there is blind. And I know that curiosity isn't some cute little quirk. It's a scent. It's how you call them. If you've listened this far, if you're still here, I need you to do 2 things for me. First, if anyone ever suggests ducking into an unmarked tunnel just to have a look, you tell them no. You tell them a story about a girl named Lex who didn't come back. and about a chamber that wouldn't give her body up, and about sounds that left the caves with the survivors. Second, pay attention to the next time you're in a place with no windows, a basement, a bathroom with the fan off, a long hallway after everyone's gone to bed. Turn off whatever's making noise, the TV, the fan, the music, and wait. And if in that heavy, suffocating quiet, you hear a faint, dry clicking from somewhere you can't quite place, don't go looking for it. Don't say, "What was that?" out loud. Don't start recording with your phone like you're collecting evidence. Just leave. Because there's only one reason I'm telling you all of this, and it isn't to get sympathy. It's because I keep thinking about that message, about that little scraped out, "Hey," and about how curiosity works both ways. We went into their world because we couldn't stand not knowing what was down there. Now I think they've been wondering the same thing about us. What's up here? How we move, how we sound, how we taste. So yeah, I wasn't supposed to be the one who made it out. And some nights, when the pipes tick in the walls and the house settles just wrong, I'm not entirely sure I did. If you made it all the way to the end of this story, you're officially braver than I am. This has been another tale from Midnight Delight. If this one made you side-eye your basement, your bathroom, or literally any dark hallway in your house, do me a favor. Hit that like button so the algorithm knows you survived. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling me this. Would you ever go cave exploring after hearing this? Or are you strictly above ground only now? Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next nightmare. Sleep tight.